Now let's taste it and rate it 1 through 10 and see what flavors awaits. Like my extremely flexible standard of dating, we've all tried to satisfy our needs with low quality means. You might think that a struggle meal is out of desperation, but with creativity and passion, it can actually taste like a normal meal. Whether or not you're still struggling, you should keep these recipes around because you never know when life is just gonna kick you in the crotch, give you a wedgie, and spit on your face. So a lot of you on Instagram gave me your recipes, and today we'll make them, try them, and rate it 1 through 10. And the winner is gonna get a prize. That is this apron right here. We have on the menu today 3 appetizers, 4 entrees, and 3 desserts. Let's get started. So our first appetizer is popcorn chicken, but instead of fried chicken in the shape of popcorns, it's popcorn covered in chicken bouillon. Well, excuse me, it's actually better than bouillon.
Nice job, team.
Since the paste is too thick, we'll incorporate some butter into it to make it like a sauce. Once it looks sort of homogeneous like this, we'll move on to the plating. Pour the popcorns into my mug/cup. Give the sauce a little stir so it doesn't completely look like throw up. Finally, we'll drizzle it over. You gotta make sure it's elegant because it's a struggle meal, but we still have our dignity over here. And carefully mix it up, make sure nothing spills. And now it's time to grab a handful and give it a taste. We'll rate these dishes on 2 scales today: the taste and how easy it is to make. As we expected, it tastes like buttered popcorn with a hint of meat in there. So it makes me feel like I'm not eating a snack, but rather a legit meal. But it's definitely not filling and a little boring. Popcorn chicken. 3 out of 10 for taste and 4.5 out of 10 on easiness. Moving on, I named our next recipe cinnamon bread. Basically, you take a piece of white ass bread. Yes, I use the end piece here because it reminds me a lot about myself, how everybody wants to toss it before giving it a chance. We'll put a slice of cheese and top it off with some cinnamon, but as I'm putting it on, I realize my cinnamon smells kind of weird. Alright, now we have the actual cinnamon. We can dust it off and then broil it. So I'm too lazy to turn on the oven and wait for it to come to temperature, so I'll just blowtorch it. So this is what it looks like. It kind of reminds me of that time when I did a really good job cleaning my stove with a sponge, but not gonna knock it till I try it. Oh, the cheese is actually melted. And the spices on top actually gives it like a curry taste. 2.3 for taste and 3 for easiness. Alright, our third appetizer is curry corn. Starting with a whole can, drained. I drove across America from San Francisco to Boston once, and that is when I learned that there's more cornfields than people in this country. After it's drained, mix in mayo, curry paste, and a little bit of cheese. Microwave it for about 1.5 minutes till you start to get confused whether this bowl is for your horse or you. It's very creamy and spicy, overall a good dish, but I think it tastes just as good eating it straight out of the can. So curry corn, 2.5 and 4. I never order vegetables at a restaurant because
vegetable tastes like sap.
But we're going to give this dish a shot since it only requires 3 ingredients. Hopefully Miguel doesn't let me down. I don't have crispy water, so I'm using crunchy water and then some paprika. And I don't have lemon, so I'm using some lime. Ligma fork till combined, and let's give it a taste.
Whoa, that was nasty.
I don't really understand what I just put in my mouth. It's literally just straight up vegetables. 0 out of 5 for taste. Well, 5 out of 5 for easiness. And if you're watching this, Miguel, send me a DM. I want to make sure you're okay. Now we have arrived at entree round. First dish being sausage casserole from Leon. When I first saw it, I thought he sent me a picture of a bad situation. Well, he didn't send me any recipe, but from the looks of it, it's just gonna be 1 tortilla, a layer of beans. Check out this bean water. Very appetizing. I think of it as a protein shake for the apocalyptic time. And for our final ingredient, I'll grab real quick from my bedroom. Alright, now let's unwrap it so we can have some fun. We'll gently push it on top and voila. Do you guys think I should send a picture of this to the Michelin guide? Let me know in the comments. And just to be consistent with Leon's picture, we're gonna garnish it with some franks. Now it's time to get the party started. It's the worst thing I've ever tasted. And that sentence carries a lot of weight if you've been watching my channel for a while. I think I probably messed up the recipe or got the wrong ingredients, but I don't want to try that again. This also marks my only unpleasant experience with the sausage. To calm myself down, let's move on to the mashed potatoes or pomme de terre puree. McLovin over here call it oatmeal mashed potatoes, and there's no potatoes in it. So I'm gonna assume this recipe makes oatmeal taste like mashed potatoes, which kind of confuses me because why would you substitute a cheap and accessible ingredient with an equally cheap and accessible one? Once all the seasoning and milk is put in, we'll mix it really well and microwave it for 2 minutes. And this is the finished product. It got a little thicker, and I totally didn't expect horse feeding to be a prevalent theme in this video. Very pleasantly surprised. Oatmeal is very flavorful and kind of creamy. I've never had savory oatmeal before, but this is a life changer. It kind of tastes like a mix between mashed potatoes and creamy polenta. 4.3 and 4. Highly recommend. I'm still a little traumatized, but unfortunately our final entree requires a sausage. Alejandro gave very clear instructions. We just mash up a sausage with mayo and spread it on a piece of bread. So I got another one from my bedroom. We'll first take it out. And then cut it into really small pieces. And then mix in mayo, and again with 2 pieces of white ass bread. Just 3 ingredients: mayo, sausage, and bread, but I think it's looking pretty good. The secret to making any sandwich taste instantly better is to slice it down diagonally. Here's the cross section of the sandwich. I feel like they can easily charge you $7 for something like this down at 7-Eleven, and don't judge me for how I bite it. A little bland, but it tastes pretty good. And since this is the only dish so far that has all micronutrients present, I'll give this sandwich a 4 and a 3.2. Definitely not gonna impress the bullies at the lunch table. Before we move on to the desserts, I'll give you a quick update on the bug situation. So last week I trapped the gnat and I asked you guys to give me name suggestions. I received a lot of great options, thank you. I ended up naming it Natalie. However, this week it has a new name. Dead Natalie. Now I'm gonna quickly wipe these tears away and start our first dessert, a Oreo cookie crumble. Since I don't have Oreo, I'm gonna use the cookie dough that I made 2 weeks ago. So the idea is we crush up Oreos, add baking soda and milk, and microwave for 2 minutes. Since there's already a lot of baking soda in my cookie dough, I'm just gonna cut it in half, add a little bit of milk on it, and microwave. So this is what it looks like after 2 minutes in the microwave. It looks more like a cookie than a cake. And I already see the comment section correcting that sentence to it looks more like a dookie than a cake, which I agree. So the texture is not nearly as good as a cookie or a real cake, but it is a really fast way to make a cookie. You don't have to like preheat the oven or anything. And it has a lot of sugar in it, which I'm addicted to. So cookie crumble is gonna receive 3.7 and 4. Now it's time for the healthiest dish of the video, the apple pie. Cutting up an apple, cook it in a pan along with some sugar and cinnamon. Too lazy to move to the stove, so I'm gonna use a burner. Once it's getting a little caramelized, we'll cut off the crust of some white ass bread, lay down the filling, and seal it up nice and tight with the Ligma fork. I guess the recipe is going for more like a McDonald's type of apple hand pop. This really just shows that you can turn white ass bread into anything you want, like pie crust, puff pastry, pizza dough, couch cushion, you name it. You can also sniff it to get high. And the surprising thing is, if I close my eyes, this actually tastes like a McDonald's apple pie. The warm apple filling and the soft bread. This deserves a fork throw. 100% on taste and 3.5 on ease of making. Here comes the final recipe, which requires the most amount of ingredients as well. All you need to do is mix all the ingredients together and microwave it. Pick a spoon to measure. I'm going with tablespoon and mixing 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of milk, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, and a small pinch of yeast, which I do not understand why, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and 2 tablespoons of oil. I ran out of oil, so I'm gonna put in a little bit of butter and just stuff it down there. Once homogeneous, into the microwave for 2 minutes, it should look like this. It kinda looks like one of those brownies the creepy guys used to sell in front of my high school. And just like back then, my instinct tells me to shove it in my face. It is way jigglier than I expected. The flavors are very good. It's not too sweet. And just like many things and activities I enjoy, is calling for some whipped cream or frosting. Overall, this just tastes like a really dense sponge cake. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 for both taste and ease. Oh, look at that. That's the entire menu. As we know, some Michelin star restaurant will provide you with an end of dinner surprise course. As we also know, I cook Michelin level food. So we're gonna do a bonus recipe. This onion tart recipe is from Night8765 Court. I love it when you guys have username just as NPC as mine. We'll pay this recipe extra respect and follow it a little closer because it used the ultimate technique of convincing. Trust me bro, with 3 O's. As it instructs, we'll mix half a cup of milk with some sugar, tear up 2 pieces of bread, and stuff them down. I'm assuming the same container. We'll microwave this mixture for 2 minutes. While we wait, we'll finally mince an onion. Well, I only have half, so we'll just put that on there. And finally, we'll garnish it with a layer of ranch and a layer of Takis. You know, I always see people eating this, but what are Takis?
They're like little taquitos. Baby taquitos.
I would like the taki. She on the phone.
So here we have a cup of milk, bread, raw onions, ranch, and Takis. You know, I usually try to keep an open mind, but this is pushing it a little bit. I'm gonna use the Ligma fork to grab it to keep me safe. It kind of looks like a strawberry flavored dessert, except it's gonna be spicy. Now let's taste it and rate it 1 through 10 and see what flavors awaits. Before I completely go away, I'd just like to announce the winner of today, the apple pie recipe. Congratulations to Sovio. I'll contact you to figure out a way to give you the award. Thanks to everybody who shared the recipe with me. Didn't get to all of them this time, but would love to in the future. A struggle meal doesn't need to look good, doesn't even have to taste edible. It serves us as a reminder of the time of life when things cannot get any worse. To be grateful for what we have now. I hope you never have to make any of these recipes I just showed you, but if you ever do, remember the most important part of a struggle meal is eating it with a heart full of hope. Alright, thank you.